'57 Chevy. Dan here, Davey's Speed Shop. So I'm wearing the same clothes as the last few days and last video, but don't worry, I haven't showered, so it doesn't count. Yeah, working on this turd today. So I've actually been on fire watch. We had a slight, almost catastrophic meltdown. You know that smell of 60-year-old upholstery? It really stings the nostrils. I tossed this outside and put a bunch of snow on it, so hopefully it'll, you know, they like to sizzle and ember away. Anyway, I'm sure you guys all gave me the hell in the last comments, even though I don't have the video up yet, about I'm an idiot, you didn't pull the interior out and all those things. And you know what, you're probably right, but doesn't mean I'm gonna change. We haven't lost a car yet, just little bits here and there. Knock on wood, we'll still be good. Now, where we left it, last video really changed gears with the fire, but we had the fuel system in, we had exhaust on this thing, so it actually kind of looks, man, the little bit of fire extinguisher, but man, that vice grip clear coat just protects us. So we got this small block Chevy. Now this is a junker, nothing special. It sure looks nice because it's painted, but that's about where anything ends in this. Bone stock with, it was actually seized, but we got her unseized. Now, the plan today is, we got a bolt down valve covers. They're all just sitting there. A fuel pump on, run fuel lines, starter in. We have to run the wiring so it'll crank over, find 12 volts for the distributor. Oh man, people are driving by. It's nice having the door up. First time of the year. I'm all over the place. I want to get the motor done. Pulleys on, I think I have that. I think everything I need. Transmission, we got to find some linkage stuff. We got to hook the kick down up. We got endless amounts of screwing around for there. I have this radiator. I want to mount that. I bought some miscellaneous hoses and a belt. Hopefully that'll all work. I haven't tracked down an alternator bracket that I want to use yet. I have some stuff we can cobble together, but whatever. It's going to be what's going to be. Then we got to get into brakes. I don't know if that'll be this video or not. Honestly, today I'd like to see if we could, or this video I should say, today, we'll use today in TV terms, just make it run its own, have water in it, get a little temperature in it, and see if it starts making a bunch of noise or not, because this thing is only run for mere seconds on the floor with open headers. But if it's junk, all we gotta do is pull this motor out, and there's actually a motor in here. We'll just back and forth, and we'll be fine, right? So, I don't know what we're gonna do next. I have clearly a nice organized spot where I keep all my parts, and I'm not cleaning up until I can drive this thing out. Then I'll clean. But until then, you're dealing with me. So stay tuned for the next couple of videos of working in a mess, which is kind of like every video we do here, but more messy than usual, I guess is the word for it. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do first. I'll get the parts out. We'll lay them on the hood. Oh, you know what we'll do first? Because it'll piss off the internet. I'm going to put the hood latch in. I'll show you guys what I'm going to do there. I tracked down all the OEM pieces, but we're going to have to modify it just a scotch. Perfect. Ish. Just like Harold Chevrolet would have wanted. Now I know what you're all saying. That's not factory, and it isn't. But you know what? Danielle was telling me this is what she wants. She's like, babe, I struggle trying to get the hood popped all the time, and she wants to check the oil every time before she leaves the house. I mean, she wants to do her little 21-point check and make sure everything is okay. So now, it's real easy. Anybody can get in there. Anybody can do it. So, well, you know what? We might as well lose these right away. That's what'll happen anyway. Now we got going on. We have rad hoses. This is your standard upper, which is cut to length. That's easy. We have a water neck that spins, or whatever, 180. 360. This is a rad hose I saw a guy on a forum. It's off a Ford Expedition, which apparently you can cut down. Now we'll go over it, but there's 4 and 6 cylinder position radiators, and I have, nope, 6 and 8. Man, the fumes have gotten to me. Now what I'm running is a 6-cylinder radiator, no, a V8 in the 6-cylinder position. So if you get a V8 hose, the radiator is actually closer. So what they did with the 6 cylinders, being the motor was longer, they spaced the radiator further away, but you can't just use a 6-cylinder hose. So that's what this should circumvent, maybe. We got fuel line, we got a balancer pulley, kick down cable, spark plugs, U-joint straps for the drive shaft, which will hopefully fit, TCV valve. I got some hardware to bolt down the head or the valve covers. I got little Allen key ones. Hopefully they'll be the right length because they're a pain to get. These cast valve covers are kind of a pain. And I got some hardware to tie the radiator, which is on the ground. And I have the factory water pump from this thing also laying on the ground, which has the proper pulley. So everything should line up just fine. The only thing I don't have, like I said, is the alternator bracket. And we're just going to use a typical GM long pump, it's called. So off any like square body truck or whatever, it was all the same, and they sell all manner of kits. However, the speed shop just didn't have one in stock when I was there, so that's a bummer. But we can run it. We might be able to cobble something together. I might have a few bits. I actually see part of one. Oh, now I'm looking, I might have everything I need. Nothing like checking home stock before you go and try and spend money. So if we get that on, be bonus. But I got to paint the pulleys, get all that stuff down, go check, see if that'll fit, and then we'll go from there. Because I'd like to put the front dress on before I put the radiator in, because it's always a pain to get the crank bolt and all that in. Well, right now you can reach right in, very simple. So I'll get some stuff painted, we'll get organized, and I'll come back when parts are going on. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't look much different. I jumped ahead a little bit. I just put the front dress on, so a couple of pulleys, a few bolts. I found some miscellaneous junk. This is like a chrome El Cheapo alternator bracket piece. I don't think I have the piece at the back. I gotta find that yet, but I found one of these, so that's the top piece. I think it should work. She's pretty crusty, but it'll suit what we're looking for. I put a set of plugs in it. And that's kind of, I put the fuel pump on as well. It's kind of about as far as I got. And it's Saturday nights. We do live streams every kind of second Saturday. And I think what we're gonna do is we have more fun just kind of working on the car during the live stream. So that's the plan. I think I'm gonna leave it here, get something to eat, and then hopefully we've seen you. And if you haven't, turn on the notifications so you get these things. It's worth it. I'm hoping tonight I can maybe mount the radiator, see if I can get the hoses fit, put the distributor back together, run the plug wires, maybe do the fuel line. Kind of a bunch of little things that are kind of boring. And tomorrow we can then fire it up and go from there. I think I have some brake line. Maybe I can mess with some brake lines for an hour or so. Not going to get a whole lot done, but it's nice just to kind of keep working. I've been giving her since 8 o'clock this morning. And we'll give her right till 9, 10 o'clock tonight. I do probably have an alternator I could put in there, but at this point, it's Danny's car. I don't want to have any issues because, well, if she has an issue on the side of the road, I have an issue on the side of the road. So a cheap one-wire Performance Roll makes them, they're like $150 or something like that. We don't have anything crazy. This thing has no options in it, so just whatever the cheapest alternator is, but it'll be brand new. We'll have this, like I said, nice big radiator, big cooling fan, runs cool, it charges, it has power brakes. The only thing it doesn't have is power steering, and the whole front end's rebuilt. It'll be a good car, and it should be reliable for the 2,000 miles she'll put on this thing this year. But the snow's melting. Actually, the headlight buckets are starting to emerge from where I've left them in the backyard, so maybe we'll get that on there as well. But I think realistically tomorrow, running would be bonus, and hopefully transmission would be really cool. To see if it could kind of go in and out of gear would be bonus. I still haven't checked that drive shaft, but I'm pretty sure it'll fit. So yeah, tomorrow afternoon this thing should be runner, maybe a driver, or at least a wheel spinner. Then we got to screw around with brakes, headlights, all that sort of stuff, get some seats mounted, go from there. See you tomorrow. Well, I'll see you tonight. You better have been there. Don't make me feel bad. See you later. New day. Still smells like campfire in here. I did a little work last night on the old live stream. Hopefully you're in there. But radiator is in. Got proper radiator hoses. Mortsky, that's for you, buddy. We ran a fuel line, so just a couple pieces of rubber, but that's an aluminum line. So that's all dialed. Put a fuel filter in, carburetor is down. Linkage for the kick down is in. I don't have a little ball stall. Just put a bolt in there. I'll drill it out. Valve cover's bolted down. Oh, I moved the brake proportioning valve. It's not perfect, but it's fine. It should be enough from away from the headers. Got that dialed. I have one line to make. I have to go from here to here because originally it was right there, so that's not enough. And then I have to join the rear brakes. So up here is where the line is. So I have to extend that. Unfortunately, I don't have any 1/4-inch brake line. The nice stuff, I use this nickel copper, which super easy to use. So I went to the hardware store and I bought steel. So it's gonna be whatever. It's just a straight run, really. With my hydraulic flaring tool, it's easy to flare. These are a pain to bend. You have to, kind of screw around. But essentially, it's going to be a straight shot right across. We'll lift that up a little bit, maybe secure it to the firewall and follow these lines in. And then I've got my pocket so I wouldn't lose it. I just got a little, female end so you can extend it. So we'll do a little screw around with a couple of fittings, reuse what we have or do whatever. And then we can bleed the brakes. I don't know if we'll do that today or not, but realistically, we'll get that all taken care of just in case. But I think the big plan today, make it run. I gotta see if I have an alternator I can just put in there just so it can turn the water pump. It'd be nice how we can run it a little bit longer. And we could just jumper the fan or whatever we have to do. Actually, you know what? I totally forgot. There's no battery tray on this thing. Oh, shoot. So that's a problem. Oh yeah, there's no gas pedal. That hole right there is where the linkage comes through. There's still lots of little stuff. Every time I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just have it running and driving. And then I realize I am missing so much junk. We can hot wire and have it running in 10 minutes, but there's no point doing that. I mean, it'd just be for like the clickbait title. Who would do that? I want to do this thing properly so it turns the key and runs. I think that's the plan today. Then maybe tomorrow we'll get back at it and it can drive. Brakes are needed for that and a transmission, and that is the wild card. I don't know if this tranny's any good or not. We'll see. Also, when I took it all apart, I think I lost a couple of bolts and they're metric, so I'm going to run to the hardware store. Let's get stuff under the hood and we'll start putting stuff together bit by bit. So, make a couple lines. So I use this stuff all the time. Get off Scamazon. They have it's like $29 for, I want to say 25 feet, and it comes with a bag of fittings. And this stuff you can just bend it any way you want. It won't kink. It is very, very handy. So use that and buy yourself a good brake flaring tool. So I use one, again, Amazon. This is a Master Cool, it's called. It's a hydraulically controlled one. Very, very handy. I friggin' love it. Now I'll just make sure we have the right fitting there. So I'll just show you how to make one line real quick. I've done this a bunch of times. People always ask. Slip your fitting on first. Slide your line in. It's got this little lever thing here which sets the depth. So, whoops. Well, the camera's on. I'm struggling. What's going on here? There we go. All right, hang on. So you push it in until it kind of stops. Lock that down in the jaws. You really don't got to work that hard at it. And it's got two little dies. This is for your first flare. And it just has a cone for the double flare. Go ahead and put this in. Line her up. Squeeze it till it stops. Done. Mint. This is so convenient. And then the second one. Perfect flare. Every damn time. Show you here. It'd be a lot easier if I didn't have a whole spool on this. Look at that. It's That's a nice little flare there, eh? So every time we're good. Now, we'll go ahead and kind of eyeball a length of this. We'll snap it in the bottom of the valve, or proportioning valve, yeah. And then I'll run it down away from the exhaust as much as possible. We'll carry on, so we'll fast motion that real quick. I spend my life doing brakes. And the best part is this was already done at one point. There we have it. New brake lines. So this bottom one I ran, it's a steel one, so I got a little kink up. It goes away. These two are there. That's one we just ran down. Got lots of airspace between the header. The only thing I did do, which is kind of which is just different. So originally, these are the fittings that came with it, and the back reservoir, which I believe is front brakes, it was quarter, and it ran into the valve. I didn't have that, so I ran 3/16. So if I have to change that down the road when I get some more line, it's fine. But this will get us in and around and stop the thing, and if I remember, it should be fine. It was kind of a little, isn't the best placing for it, absolutely, but fender well headers and the booster put everything so far ahead, kind of limited, so I think we should be okay. I don't have any curly cues or nothing like that in the lines, which I mean a lot of people want that for flex, but there's a long run, so it has lots up and down. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Now, next thing we're gonna do, throttle linkage cable. I have one in the other garage. I'm gonna go grab it. I'll show you what it looks like. It's like a mechanical little rod, old school stuff. I think shortly after this, they went to like the pedal was hung and it had a cable. Well, I guess it would have been late 60s they did that, but it's a pain. We're gonna have to figure something out, and then oil change, and we got to figure out what we have for wires under here we can snag 12 volts out of, shoot it up, put a starter in it, put some coolant in it, and see if it'll fire up. Look at this throttle pedal, very simple. So it's kind of a cool old school setup. Now this must be off the wagon, so I put in something a little fancier. Now what this does, these two bolts, there's a hole in the firewall, so we're going to snake in we're gonna snake in this is your gas pedal. So this is old school stuff. It would have the pedal in the car, and it just, you know, bottom action. So this will be bolted to the firewall, and as you step on the gas, it just pulls this lever back, which then has this little all thread piece which pulls back in the carburetor. I don't know, I think this is when I had tunnel ram, so it was kind of a shorter one, and it's obviously not the right deal. So that's where we're gonna have to screw around and make something fit. Where's the Leatherman? Right here. A rod or a cable or whatever it may be. Now, very simple, very simple setup. They do sell endless amounts of aftermarket stuff. This is pretty simple to go on. It only fits one way. Keyway, you can take it off if you want, but we like to struggle. This is a pain to put on a big block Chevrolet. I'd recommend having it in before you start screwing around. But on these, it's fine. Also, I forgot on a small block. Put that in there. What do I got going on? Hang on, what am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. So it's kind of held in there, and you can see the action. Am I blocking everything? Yeah, I'm blocking everything. And there's 2 1/4-inch bolts, so I'll just go ahead and get those struggled in here. Gentle. So we got like a little bit of room here. Small block, but big block, whoo! Oh, and I've dropped the bolt. Damn it. All right, I'll just come back when this is all done. Or after lunch. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have some linkage. Now the problem we're gonna run into here is we have to get this kickdown cable attached, well, that's not adjusted properly, to the bottom of the carburetor. So as you pull out, it will pull on the kickdown. Now, what it's supposed to have is a kind of little bolt that comes through there, and there's like a little flat end tab and all that. Well, we don't have any of that, but we do have a 1/4-inch bolt, which I've flattened on 2 sides. and this bolt will go in there, no problemo. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this in. The reason I flattened it is because it fits in the slot. So we got that in there. Now we're gonna run down a bolt here. That's hot. I just ground that like an idiot. Yeah, we need that. So this will prevent it from going all the way through. Pop that in there. Put another one right back there. Stupid fat hands blocking the shot. Come on, there we go, there we go. And ultimately, that's our kickdown. Oh, that's not too bad. So we'll have to adjust the kickdown under wide open, and we'll tighten up those bolts. And there you have it on that. Now for this, what are we gonna do real easy? You know what, I got an idea. Well, far from perfect, but perfect from afar. That's just some baling wire. Now, back in the day, again, this used to be, obviously a rod, mechanical rod. And what happened, I mean, what could happen is if the engine ever rocked, like a motor mount let go, it would cause throttle to stick wide open. So I prefer cables. This is obviously not permanent, but this is what's happening now. So if the motor ever did rock, the cable would, flex or bend or whatever. Now, we're also solid mounted, so we don't really have any of those issues, but, keep in mind, this will be good enough for right now. We should be fine. I'm gonna put the plug wires on, put the oil in, quick oil change, and then we'll lift it up. We got distributor put in, run power wire, or starter, sorry, power wires to the starter. I probably got to get some leads. I actually didn't think of that. I'll have to run out and get some battery cables, unless there was some on that motor. There might have been. We'll have to get a good ground to it. The battery will probably just be strapped to the control arm or something like that. Super wrong, but for the time being, it will run. Cool. Oh, coolant in. We'll do that when it comes back down. All right, well, we got the starter on. I then rolled it over and forgot to have an oil filter on it, and it dumped oil out, which means it has oil pressure, or it's trying to have oil pressure. It's pumping oil. All I had was these two ridiculously long cables, but we can always shorten those up. But that's got the battery up there for now. Test rolled it over, it was good. I haven't started it yet, there's no fuel in it. I put this bracket on. Now, again, I did it mostly just for the water pump aspect. It's definitely not perfect. It's got no kind of third tie-in point. So I was thinking I would cut this and weld it to the, so the holes there and I could bolt to the intake manifold. So I had that one, then I had a chrome one. And this one would work, except for it's meant to bolt on to the water neck, and we have a goofy water neck, so this one's no good. That's the way it goes. So we're gonna have to modify something that's hot rodding. Anyways, I didn't want to screw around with it too much because if you can tell, it'll show up on the camera too well, but the belt, it's actually not bad, but the alternator is backwards a little bit. So I have to space it ahead, screw around, and then I can weld that piece on. I mean, I could slot it so I could do a little screw around, but anyways, it'll be fine for idling and a little bit of revving and just turning the water pump. What else we got going on? I stole 12 volts from the heater fan, just because that was a good 12 volt situation. This thing had the LS in it, so wiring is butchered. It's got the original harness from 57, and anyway, we kind of tapped into it and screwed around with it, and the plan is to change wiring harness. Anyways, that being said, check this out. Friggin' dome light works. Off, on, off, on. Maybe I should just leave it, run a few new wires. So, I think we have everything we need to run it. I'm gonna go see if I have a jerry can of fuel, put some fuel in it, get the little squirter, Uncle Tony squirter bottle. I gotta block off the carburetor, there's a bunch of vacuum stuff which we have to take care of, but just to get it running, set the tune, set the timing, set the idle, let it get a little temperature in it, give it a few revs, have a little wind. We got coolant outside, we'll check to make sure we have no leaks. Yeah. I'm gonna clean up, well, by clean up I mean just push all these tools on the ground. And then we'll be back on the tripod, see if this thing will go. Oh, okay, we're back in. Well, I'm back in, I went and got this coolant, and I love putting the coolant in the jerry can. There's really no point of this other than people like to comment. We put 5 gallons of fuel in it. Nothing leaked. That was pretty sweet. Hopefully, well, this fuel pump did work. So I had it running out of a jerry can, so hopefully it'll suck it up. I won't have a hole in the line or nothing. I just used the factory line that was there, which I think we used at some point. So that should be good. So I'll get this topped up. We got Uncle Tony bottle feed bottle ready to go. And it should start from the key. What a concept. I think it's just filling up the engine block, or is it still in the radiator? There's no stat in this thing, so we should be good. I'll be right back. Well, I'll just edit this out because I'm not turning the camera off. So we have a small water leak from the water pump, unfortunately, right where it mates to the block. I didn't have water pump gaskets, so I thought, oh, I'll just silicone this and it'll be fine. As it turns out, it's not fine, and I tried tightening it down, but she tight. So I got to clean that off, get some gaskets, but that's a job for tomorrow. Pretty simple. I mean, all you got to do is pull off the alternator bracket, and the water pump's right there, easy to get to. So it should be okay. I'm going to fill the bowls up. I got the fire extinguisher out. Pin's already pulled from the other day. What else we got? I think that's it. See if this thing will pull fuel. We got the timing light out. I'm not confident we're able to set the timing on this old girl. Hopefully it'll fire up. It ran pretty good on the floor. This carburetor was just a Marketplace special, Summit brand. Never used it before, but, well, I had it on the 56, ran fine. Okay, are we all good there? What do you think? Should fire up? Where are my muffs? I'm an old man, I need my hearing. All right, here we go. Makes noise. Might have to actually work the throttle pedal. Sounds like the exhaust is hitting something right there. All right, come on. This thing sounds good. Got a little exhaust leak somewhere here. Got fuel. Man, all right, so timing. We're not setting initial, we're gonna set all in because that's all that really matters. Okay, so I was gonna set the timing, but I made, what's that noise? Oh. We were good here? Anyway, I was gonna set the timing, but the little mark on the balancer, I had painted over it, idiot, and I can't see, it's all just shiny orange. So I'm going to bump it over real quick so you can find that line, give it a quick scuff, or paint it white or do whatever so I can see the timing mark. And then at the same time I'm going to double check all these header bolts. There is just a little tick 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 I could hear. I don't know, probably it always sounds worse on camera, the exhaust leaks, but I don't know, seem to fire up okay. It's making noises. Give it once over, we'll be right back. We're back. I got the timing mark painted. It leaked a bunch of coolant out, and I was like, oh, I better fill it back up, and then it stopped leaking. So 12-block Chevy, right? Give her a little of that. And time lights out. Let's fire it. See what happens. Oh, I also tightened the header gaskets. Sounds bitchin'. Hang on. We're gonna try that. We'll put the microphone facing this way. That's awesome. All right, hang on. Mic check, mic check. Sorry, it might be a little loud and muffled. Oh, man. This thing sounds bitchin'. It actually, it revs quick. It's happy. I think this thing's gonna have lots of power. It's idling a little fast. I realized all those things. It was yakking, cooling out like crazy. Obviously, see how rusty that water was? There's been a little bit of sediment in there. I don't know why I got sprayed all over the motor, even though it probably already has. So actually, someone sent me, one of you guys sent me a bunch of rad caps, and I've yet to go get them because I'm a terrible person, but I should probably go do that. Man, this thing looks cool, sounds cool, runs good as far as I'm concerned. Needs a rad cap. Is it still leaking now? Oh yeah, it's pouring out coolant again. Okay, so we got to get some gaskets. But she's a runner. This thing hasn't run in a couple of years, and this motor hasn't had legitimate runtime in who knows how long, 20, 30 years? But she's good. So that's what we're leaving for today. Up next, I got to get a bunch of junk. We got to get, she's cold. We got to get some gaskets. We got transmission stuff. We got to run transmission lines. That's the next big thing now, is the transmission going to be good? I have a drive shaft. I got to double check the length, but of course I stored it improperly and lost the caps off the wiggle woggle side of the U-joint. So I got to get a U-joint or some caps or whatever. Maybe I have some. And we can slap that in, and then if the transmission goes into gear, we'll have a drive shaft. Motor sounds good. Fix a coolant leak, bleed the brakes, and I'm hoping we can drive this thing around the block. The only thing, oh, and headlights. There's lots of little, you know, little things. Might need a little carpet kit, stuff like that, which I should probably just go ahead and call Rock Auto and buy one, eh? I feel a little bad about screwing that up, but I do these things so no one else makes mistakes. We gotta do door panels, glass. Oh, there's still lots to do, but having it running, driving, so we can yard it out of this thing and clean the garage up, be sweet. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. Do me a huge favor, like the video. That helps, you know, get all shared around, all that sort of stuff. Because let's be honest, everyone needs to see me being an idiot on the internet. Thanks for watching. See you in a couple of days. Oh, that's cool. So I'm just editing the video. It's about 12:30 at night, and I realized the speakers blew out on the friggin' microphone. Well, obviously we can't have that. So we got to fire it up, do a little red line, started another video already, so car's all over the place. So we'll warm it, start it up, let it run for like 18 seconds to warm up, and see what happens. Come on, girl. This sounds cool. For an all-stock motor. What's going on here? Is it a motor? Famous last words here. Oh yeah, much better. I'm ending this video and go to bed. Subscribe below, please.